How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to the Tip of the Iceberg podcast. I'm your host, as always, Quinn Capitula. Shout out to the Icy Originals, the Icy OGs, and today, let's talk about how we can think about reality, how we can think about everything that's happening in our lives in a way that actually allows us to live happy, meaningful, and fulfilling lives. That sounds good. Let's dive into it. A lot of times, we tend to view anything that happens in the sense of where we are right now, where our feet are, versus how far we have to go. If you're listening to this podcast, you're someone who has a lot of ambition. You have a lot of expectations that you put on yourself, which isn't necessarily a good thing, but you basically believe in yourself and you set ambitious intentions and goals because you want to be something more than what you see a lot of other people being, or more than you've been in the past, right? So that leads to getting a clear understanding of where you desire to be versus where you are. A lot of times that is how we view our worth, our value as people, is that gap between where we are and where we desire to be, and our intentions and our ideals, right? Now, the thing about an ideal, and the difference between a goal and an ideal, is very important to understand. A goal is something that you can achieve. An ideal is something you never achieve. The reason for that is because ideals always change when you get close to them. The goalpost moves. Let's say your ideal is to earn a certain amount of income every month in your business. Let's say you hit that mark. Is that ideal going to stay the same? No, it's going to change, right? So as you move, let's say you start here, right? Where you started, where you are, your ideal. As you get closer here, this is going to move up. It always does. You never reach your ideals, but you do reach your goals, okay? So, as opposed to looking in the sense of how far you still have to go, which usually makes you feel fulfilled, really robs you of a lot of joy that you have, and makes it very difficult to actually celebrate wins because you're always focused on the future. You're never focused on the present. You're always future projecting and, I still have to do all these things and all these other things need to happen, right? We're not actually present. We're too busy kind of future projecting into what could potentially happen in the future and how far we have to go until we get there. All the things we need to do, all the things we have to figure out. It's even tiring to say out loud right now, right? So if you're looking to be happy, feel more fulfilled, really celebrate life, and feel like you're always achieving things, you're always winning, try viewing life in the sense of how far you've come as opposed to how far you have to go, right? We're all far from perfect beings, right? We're all perfectly imperfect. So, of course, there's going to be things along the way that are going to come up, and we're not going to be able to do everything as ideally, as quickly as maybe we would have liked to. However, that doesn't mean that you're not better than when you started. That doesn't mean you haven't learned things along the way. Even if it hasn't gone exactly how you would have liked it to go, I guarantee things are much different than when you started. You're in a much different spot. You're in a much more enlightened spot, a much more conscious spot. You're a lot more knowledgeable about something, even if it's what doesn't work. All of these things are wins. So instead of viewing and worrying about the future, feeling unfulfilled in the present because we're judging ourselves based off of a future ideal as opposed to our present reality, why don't we judge ourselves? Well, ideally we don't judge ourselves, but why don't we start to value our worth based off of how far we've come and structure our daily habits in our reticular activation system to see ways that we're always getting things done. We're always improving, we're always winning, as opposed to the other way around. So, hopefully that makes sense, and being happy is just the tip of the iceberg. I'm out. See you next time. Peace.